I'm back with another video, and today it's going to be about my Canon Rebel T6i. Again, I know, I'm sorry, but it is a tutorial, kind of like a walkthrough on all the functions and settings that I use. So yeah, if you just bought this camera and you want like a quick little tutorial on it, then just keep watching.
Alright guys, so this is my camera. It is the Canon Rebel T6i, as I said before. And yeah, so I'm just gonna basically do a tutorial for you guys. And yeah, let's just go ahead and get started. First off, we can just start with the basics. So right here you've got your autofocus and manual focus. I do recommend that you, if you want to switch to manual or auto, whichever you're on, I do recommend that you have your camera turned off while you switch it. So, you know, turn it to autofocus or whatever you want and then turn it on. I've heard that this can ruin your lens, so definitely keep it off while you're switching those. And then you've got your image stabilization right here, which you can turn on or off. And I do recommend leaving that on just because it really helps with the shakiness. Next you have your this button. I'm not really sure what this button is called, but this is what you press down to change the lens. So basically all you want to do to change the lens is go ahead and line up the white dot to the white dot on here. And then you just twist it. If you want to take it off, you push this button and twist it again. So that's all you do, very simple. Then you have your flash right here. So if you are taking a photo or whatever and you want your flash on, just press this button and your flash will pop up. On the top of the camera, you have your autofocus points. So if I turn the camera on and you press this button right here, it'll show you all of your autofocus points. So if I wanted to be in focus over to the left, I could do that. If I want all the focus to be, in the center, I can move it over to the center, or vice versa. And I can also change it to just one selected autofocus point. So if I just wanted like one certain little area, I can do that. Sorry about the glare. And then you have this over here, which I'm not entirely sure what it is because it looks like the same thing as this one. But I usually, or this one, sorry. However, I usually keep it on this one just because more of the area will be in focus. So then you have your ISO. So you just, if you press that, you can go ahead and change your ISO. Next is the display button. So if you want this screen to go off while you're shooting, you can press that button and it'll make the screen go black. Or you can turn it back on. Next you have your shutter speed. So right here, if you're in manual mode, you can actually change your shutter speed with this. You see how that number goes up and down when I switch that toggle? You can switch your shutter speed from there. I like to keep it at 1/50th though of a second. So I'm going to keep it on that. But yeah, so that those are all the buttons right there. Obviously this is the menu button, info button, which basically if you're in live view mode, it just shows all of your info, or you can take it off like I just did. And then this button, like I said, is live view mode, or if you're already in recording mode like this, you just press this button and it'll start recording. Alright, so next you have this button right here, and you can change either your shutter speed with the control up here, or if you press it down, you can change your f-stop. Next you have your Q button right here, and all that does is make it readily available to change all of your settings right here on the screen. And since this is touchscreen, you can also change all of the settings by touching the screen. Then you just have your like shutter speed, or not shutter speed, drive mode. So if you wanted to take several pictures a second, you could pick that little icon right there, and then you'll hear it'll take several photos a second. It'll take them a lot faster than if you were to just take it. I'll put it back on normal mode. This is what it would sound like. So if you're doing sport photography or something like that, that's a mode that you would want to be in, the continuous shooting. And then you just have your white balance button, your autofocus type or whatever, and then your picture style right down here. Then of course you have your playback, you can view the images you just took, or your delete button. Alright, so the last button that you have on your camera is the zoom, and you can do like a digital zoom if you want. Also, you can, when you review your pictures, you can zoom in on them while reviewing them, so you can get close up. You can also, while you're reviewing your pictures, you can just zoom in like you would on your phone. Alright, so let's get more into how to change your settings and everything. So right now I am on movie mode, and basically what you're going to do to change your settings and customize. Oh, I'm also in manual mode. So basically you're just going to want to play around with the settings on your camera and see what kind of lighting works best. So what I like to do is I like to play around with the ISO. You can change that just by hitting that little button that says ISO auto. And you really don't want to go above 800 because then the picture starts to get really grainy. So I typically like to go to like 400 just because I have like low lighting in my room. So I typically do that. Once you actually have a lens where you really can control the f-stop, which is really like a prime lens like this one, the 50mm one, you can play around with the f-stop, and you can, change it as low as you want, because I could change this f-stop to, if I scrolled back, not scrolled, but went all the way back to 18mm, I can go all the way down to 3.5, which really isn't that low anyway, but I can go down to 3.5 of an f-stop. But if I want to zoom in a little bit more, like let's say to 35, you'll see that the lowest I can go is 5, an f-stop of 5. So if it was really bright outside or something, and I didn't need my lens to be open as wide, you can kind of have a little bit of customization, so you can change it to like whatever, f-stop 11 or 16, whatever you need. So you can customize it that way, but most zoom lenses you can't really customize. They do make lenses though that are like, I think there's a 24 to 70mm, and it has a fixed f-stop of 2.8, so you can zoom in and out and have it stay at 2.8 the whole time. It doesn't, close and open as you zoom or zoom in or zoom out. So those are really nice, but they are very expensive. So like I said before, a prime lens would be better, and I really do like the 50mm lens. So anyway, that is how you would change your f-stop. That's all you do. It's super easy. It really makes it so much easier because of the touch screen. You can just go right into your settings. You don't have to fiddle with these buttons over here. It's just super, super helpful, and I love the Canon brand. I think it has a really easy to use interface, and I love it. It's really good for beginners, I think. Alright, so next thing is shutter speed, and that would be this little button right here. So all you do to change that is just click on it and you change it, and you'll notice that with all of these settings, they'll either brighten or darken the photo, and they'll really change your photo. I do recommend a shutter speed of 30 to 60. I like to stay at 50. I just think that this looks the best, has the best quality. If you go any higher or too low, I think it gets really grainy as well. So I like to keep it at 50. So yeah, these are the settings I usually use. I do have my 18 to 55 on, like I said. So typically when I have my 50mm lens on, I will still have a shutter speed of 50. I'll have an f-stop of 1.8. I keep it as low as it can go. And the ISO, it just depends on my lighting that day. Sometimes I'll have it at 100 or 200. The highest I'll go though is like about 400. If I really need to go 800, I'll go 800, but typically I don't with that lens since it opens up really wide and lets a lot of light in. Alright, so those are the main things that are really going to improve your quality and picture of your video or picture. But if you want to go in and change some more settings, all you would do is press this Q button, or you can also press the Q button on your camera, and that will bring you to the same menu. So first we have autofocus, and right now I have it on tracking. And I find that that is the best, at least for YouTube videos, because it'll have the face tracking and it tracks your face, and I feel like that works the best and keeps me in focus, you know, just the best. I think it's the best kind of autofocus to have while doing video. You also have flexi zone, so it will be focusing on multiple autofocus points. But typically I don't need that because I'm just recording myself. Or you have flexi zone single, which will focus like on a single little autofocus point on your camera, but I like to keep it on tracking. Next you have your drive mode, which I was talking about a little bit with this button right here, and that is basically just one frame, so you know, single shooting, or if you want continuous shooting and have it go really fast and take like 5 pictures a second, or you have your self timers, which is nice. Next you have your image quality, and I always like to keep it on 24 megapixels. If you go down, you'll see that the number starts to go down 11 megapixels, 5.9 megapixels, but obviously you want to get the most out of your camera and have the best quality, so I always keep it on 24 megapixels. Next you have your recording size, and I keep it on 1920 by 1080, 23.98 frames per second, which is basically like 24. I was having it on 29 frames per second, or basically 30, but I saw a video that said that the best one would be this one, so I went ahead and changed it to the 24 frames per second. Next, video snapshot. I'm honestly not sure what that is. I never use it. Over here on this right side, you have your white balance. So you can either have auto white balance, which is what I typically use, or you can have daylight. So if you're in daylight, choose that. Shade, if it's a cloudy day, you can pick that. Honestly, I feel like those are a little bit gimmicky, and I don't feel like they work too well. Even if you're in that situation, I don't think that it looks better than auto white balance. So I suggest either auto white balance, or what you can do is go all the way to the right here, and that would be custom, and so you just click right on this thing. So basically all you would do is just move this around until you find one that is most true to color. And so you also have a picture style, so this is kind of like a filter for your video. Typically I just have it on auto, but you can definitely do, I actually do really like portrait or landscape, but there's all sorts of little filters, which is pretty cool. Or if you go over to this 1, 2, 3, you can actually create your own, which is pretty cool. So you've got that, and then right here, auto lighting optimizer. Again, not too sure what that is, or the miniature effect movie. Those are probably just some crazy little features that are, you know, maybe a little bit gimmicky that I don't really use. But yeah, so that is, you know, all of your settings and everything. Next thing you can do is also go into your menu. So right here you can also change your image quality right here. So if you didn't want to do it right on the screen, you can go into your menu and change all that as well. And you know, picture style, white balance, all that good stuff. You can also, I like to have the grid on, or you can turn it off, but I like it on. And there are some other things in here like sound recording, so you can change your levels and everything with that if you wanted to. I like to keep it on auto though, because I feel like that's probably the best. In these next few bars, you just kind of have your random stuff. Right here in this folder though, you have like your if you wanted to format your card or the Wi-Fi. So formatting your card is really important to do. If you don't format your card, it could have problems later. It's just really good to kind of clear out your SD card and, you know, get it nice and clean and communicating with your camera again. Also, you don't want to switch, like take out your card and put it in another camera, especially if it's another brand. Like say it was a Sony and you're using it on a Canon camera, you don't want to swap the two. That's really not good for your camera. That's really not good for the SD card and can potentially ruin the SD card. So you definitely don't want to do that. So I really do suggest formatting your card, you know, every so often. Also, when you're transferring your files, if you're putting the SD card right into your computer, always right click and hit eject before you actually take out the SD card from your computer, just because again that can cause problems with your SD card. So if you want to keep your SD card in tip-top shape and lasting a long time, I suggest to do all of these religiously so you can keep it in good shape. Next you have your Wi-Fi, and I'll go ahead and enable that, and that's what's going to turn it on and go ahead and be able to connect to your camera. Then if you want to actually transfer your photos, you just go down to Wi-Fi function, and I'm going to go ahead and connect to smartphone, and you just press connect and OK and confirm. So while it's doing that, you just go to your phone and go to your settings and your Wi-Fi. Just look for your camera. So once it is connected, which it's thinking right now, okay, so it is connected. All you do is go into the Canon Camera Connect or something like that, yeah, app, and then you go to images on camera, press it again, and then it'll say connected, yada yada, and it will connect to your camera. So yeah, currently there are no photos because I just formatted the card, so it deleted everything, but normally you would have all your photos right here, and you would be able to just click on it and then download it, and you would be good. All you would do to download it is just press this little button right here. So when you're done, you just go back to the home screen and then disconnect, and then say yes, and you're all done. So that is what you do to transfer your photos and everything. And you actually can transfer video files as well to your phone, which is pretty cool. It just takes a while, so you've got to be patient for that. So that is the Wi-Fi, how you connect to Wi-Fi. And yeah, there's just a whole bunch of different things, just like settings for your camera, not really settings for like shooting your videos or anything, but just like the screen color, you can change it and like make it all these different colors, which is kind of cool. Or yeah, you just have all kinds of stuff in here. So yeah, that is pretty much it. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Definitely, if you have any questions, leave a comment below. I'm sure I forgot something, unfortunately. But yeah, just definitely leave a comment below and I will answer it for you. And yeah, if you have any tips on settings that would be best for filming YouTube videos and stuff, leave that below as well. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!